Skins equals wins is one of the most iconic Counter-Strike quotes of all time. Every player knows it. But does it actually hold up on the biggest stage of the year? To find out, I analysed the inventory of every player who's made it to the Cathedral for the final stage of the Major. That's 40 of the best players in the world, spread across the last 8 remaining teams. So which team has the most valuable skins, and will better skins actually translate into better results? Let's find out. So here's the game plan. Visit HLTV, download demos from recent matches for all of the playoff teams, and input the data into this spreadsheet. I'll note both T and CT side knife and glove combos if they have them, and then each of the primary rifles. Not every player uses both the M4A1 and M4A4, so I'll only list their primary choice. And then for AWPers, I'll also include their AWP skin. It's not perfect, of course, there are some expensive pistol skins, or maybe someone is actually rocking a negative ammonia, but I figure the impact would be minimal, and it's already going to take me hours as is. Let's jump in with Spirit, one of the primary contenders for this major. And I already know one of these might shock you. Indeed, Magic runs the default knife and gloves on both T and CT side, and his, or her, rifle skins don't leave much to be desired either. Chino and xXTonicXx both run Karambit Rubies, Chino actually has a tier 4 Karambit Case Hardened, and Donk is currently pairing a Karambit Emerald with Hedge Mazes. And if you want to upgrade your inventory, this video's sponsor, SkinSwap, is giving you a skin worth up to $50 entirely for free whenever you do your first trade and use my referral code. If you want to refresh your loadout, you can trade your skins for brand new ones in just a couple of seconds. Plus, their market tab now integrates cheap listings from Chinese sites so you can access the best prices without the need for a Chinese ID or bank account. They accept deposits via crypto, MasterCard, and Visa. If you want to cash out, SkinSwap makes that simple too with instant sell options to PayPal or crypto. On top of that, they run free daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways with the chance to earn extra entries simply by trading. Use the link below for a 3% lifetime sales bonus and a free skin worth up to $50. Big thanks to SkinSwap for supporting the channel. Now before you tell me many of these skins are on loan, that it's not really theirs, etc., I'm well aware that big traders often let pros borrow their skins. Well, some pros interpret it as borrowing at least.
I'm gonna send it all back to him before the dates he gave.
But I digress. And while I acknowledge it's true, there's not much I can do about it without asking all of them directly. So anyways, I spent the next few hours running through all the demos. I pulled up their Steam profiles to try and identify exact floats where possible, and while some were public, others had entirely private profiles, private inventories, or had clearly traded the skins recently and hence they did not yet show up when looking. When it wasn't possible to verify the condition, I tried my best to estimate, or used Float's database to look up the skin if it had a unique sticker combo. There were obviously a lot of high tier crafts as well. For instance, Modesty had both an AK Redline and StatTrak M4 Cyrex with 4 2014 Cato Holos on each, and it's one of only 3 skins in the world to feature these 4 stickers. Donk has this M4 Hot Rod with 4 Dignitas Holos from Clone 2014, and xXTonicXx from Spirit has a Case Hardened AK with 4 iBuyPower Holos. But then he also runs the default M4. Incredible. Anyways, I've done my best to estimate prices for most sticker crafts. However, any of the rifles with a 4x Cato 2014 holocraft I've simply set to 20k. It's not perfect, but it clearly gives that team a big boost. Now while I was going through all the players, I would like to point out some particularly interesting picks, and I use interesting loosely here. Sunpius, the primary AWPer of G2, uses a default AWP, with a couple of signature stickers applied that don't even match. His counterparts are usually running gun years like Woxig, Zordi, and Shiro. On another note, there were a surprising number of M4 radiation hazards on display in Stage 3. Of course, you expect that most would choose the Howl, and indeed there were many on show here, but Zordi, K-Serato, and Nico were all running souvenir radiation hazards. Nico's featuring the All-Star stickers from MLG Columbus 2016. While we're on the topic of M4 skins, shout out to Kyosuke's souvenir red DD Pat with iBuyPower DreamHack stickers. Looks pretty cool. Tesses runs a default M4A4 as well as default gloves on both teams, and Flamus runs this disgusting StatTrak Battlescar Tamukau. Tuaso Peak was the only player to have seemingly made use of the new souvenir feature, upgrading his full throttle. And then there were not one, but actually 2 players running a field-tested Desolate Space, Shiro and Dilladez. Magix has the cheapest option here with a StatTrak Zuba stick, but Max isn't far behind with his Evil Daimyo. I'm giving away a pair of Sport Gloves Omega in Field Tested this month. For your chance to win, simply like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'll pick the winner on June 30th. Good luck. For the Silenced M4, I was extremely surprised to only see 1 blue phosphor. sported by Tania. Instead, hot rods and print streams dominated the category. Wakadia has a cool 4x Hellraiser Cato 2014 craft on his hot rod, and of course, some of the players would change skins between matches, but I've taken the most expensive skins I saw for each of the weapons. The cheapest M4A1Ss are used by Fallen with an $11 factory new Electrum, and Karrigan with a factory new leaded glass. But let's take a step back for a minute and look at the knife glove combos the pros are running. The most popular knives were unsurprisingly the Karambit at 44%, Butterfly at 36%, and M9 at 13%. And over 60% of all the knives were gems. Shout out to Manujez and Flammus for running Black Pearls. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have Major with what I think might be the most disgusting combo of the entire tournament. A StatTrak Ursus Knife Slaughter with field-tested foundation gloves. I mean, his calling isn't very good, but it seems like his color matching isn't either. Rops was the only other player running a different knife, with a Skeleton Ruby worth about 2.5k. For the gloves, the sports gloves were an overwhelming favourite, with over half the players rocking them. However, the Crimson Kimonos were extremely popular as well. And actually, 2 players were running hand wraps. Boombitch with the Minimal Wear Slaughter, and Huaso Peak with well-worn Cobalt Skulls on T side, although he ran Hedge Mazes on CT. There were only 2 Vice gloves on show versus 5 of the newer Ultraviolence. And the cheapest set of gloves was Nertz's field-tested Brocade Flowers around the $174 mark. For the AKs, the Fire Serpent, Wild Lotus, and Redline were the most popular. A lot of Crown foils were on show here as well. Excluding Magix again with his black laminate, Tessa's actually had a very affordable StatTrak Legion of Anubis in Factory New, although he hardly ever had it in his hands since he usually buys orbs from Munacy or runs an SMG, and it actually took me ages to find. So let's go check out the pick'ems and compare the teams. First matchup, Furia vs 9Z. 9Z has a total inventory value of just under $55,000 against Furia's 98k. Clear winner there. And Molodoy is really to thank, with some heavy hitters like this beautiful Factory New Dragonlore with 6x Vox 2014 Holocraft. For the next quarterfinal, Aurora comes in with a $56,000 total versus BB's 132k. Again, they're AWPA responsible for a big portion of that. G2 vs Spirit isn't even close. G2, arguably the weakest team moving into the playoffs, has the cheapest skins worth just under 50k. And up against Spirit's 136, they stand no chance. No, it's not because Donk is a monster, it's because they have more Karambits. Yes, every Spirit player with the exception of Magix runs a Karambit. The final matchup, reigning champions Vitality versus Team Falcons. And sure, Falcons have struggled in the past to match up to the Bees, but this time around, they've got an oil subsidized inventory worth over $250,000. Admittedly though, that's because I've priced Munazy's Souvenir Dragonlore with a scope autograph at around the 150k mark alone. So you could argue that. But even excluding that AWP entirely, they'd still beat 8 Vitality's 77k. Seems like the Vitality crew are spending their money elsewhere, like 11 Madison Park. And I can get behind that.
The lobster and the sauce. I don't know.
Unfortunately, it's not looking good for them in this matchup. Then, working through the bracket, we'll have a semi-final between BB and Falcons, depending on how you value the AWP, with a redemption arc for the Saudi Investment Fund. So, that's my Diamond Coin prediction. If you want to have a look at the full breakdown, the spreadsheet will be linked below. Otherwise, here's an overall summary sorted by player. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, check out one of these next. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.